Hello everyone, we'll study timer mode 2 today. The timer mode 2 is nothing, it is an 8-bit timer, right? The timer what we use is an 8-bit timer. The timer register TL is loaded with values from 00H to FFH here, right? Here we use only the higher byte register to load the initial count values, to initial the count values, right? We don't use the TL register here. Yes, I will say how the TL register could be used here. The TL register is loaded with 8-bit value, the initial count values, right? The whatever is the initial count values, that is the TH, the higher byte register is initialized with that value, and the copy of that is given to the lower byte register here, right? And when the TL, when the timer starts using the set B TR1 or TR0, right, depending on which timer is selected to work in mode 2, right? The TL register increments by counting up as and when it receives the number of clock pulses. And when the TL register rolls from FF to 0 here and sets the overflow flag to 1, the the lower byte register is reloaded automatically with the original value which is kept in the TH register here, right? And this is called as auto reloading capability, right? As I said here, right, the mode 2 is an 8-bit timer, right? And the initial count value is loaded in the TH register, which is a higher byte register, right? And whenever the timer starts, the TL register keeps on incrementing, and whenever it reaches the maximum count, and since it is an 8-bit counter, the maximum count what we can have is from 00H to FFH here, 256, right? Whenever we the register counts 256 clock cycles here, right? And after that it will roll back to the register will be reset, and it will set the overflow flag to 1, right? And now after reset, now the TL register will be loaded with the value which is loaded in the TH register here, the higher byte register what we have, whatever the initial count value which is loaded into that register, that count value will be copied to the lower byte register, the TL register. And again, whenever it receives the clock cycles, it will count, it will keep on incrementing from that initial value, right? And this capability we call it as auto reloading capability. You might have seen in mode 1 what we have done. We initialize the TH register and also we initialize the TL register, right? Because it was a 16-bit timer, and the maximum number of counts what we can have in mode 1 was 65,536, right? That many number of counts what we can have after, and whenever the overflow flag is set, those 16-bit registers were reset to 0000H there. But in mode 2, since it is an 8-bit counter, only the higher byte register is initialized with the initial count values, right? And whenever the lower byte register is reset and sets the overflow flag to 1, right, after the reset, the lower byte register, the TL register is reset, is reinitialized with the original value which is stored in TH register, right? And this we call it as the auto reloading capability. In auto reload, the TH is loaded with initial count values and a copy of it is given to the lower byte register. This reloading leaves TH unchanged. It means that the whatever the initial count value, like whatever the value we initialize the higher byte register, after reset, the TH register will still remain the same, right? It is not changing. Whatever the initial count or the original value what you loaded into the higher byte register, that still remains the same here, right? Only the TL register will be reloaded with the whatever value we have it in the higher byte register, right? As I said here, the TH register is unchanged, still holding a copy of the original value. The whatever the initial count value we have, that will be stored in the higher byte register. Now, if you see this example, like the timer, the what are the timer we have, right? The timer will receive one clock will be one machine cycle here. Here, what we do, the crystal frequency is divided by 12, right? And that will be our timer's frequency. So that one clock, for every one clock, the timer receives here, right? Receives. And if the TR bit is on, maybe TR0 or TR1, depending on which timer is used in mode 2 here now, right? Right, if the TR bit is set and it receives the clock cycles, what will happen here? The TL register, what we have, the TL register will count the number of clock cycles. If the one clock cycle is received, the TL will increment by 1. Like as the number of clock pulses increases, that the counts in the TL register will also keep on increasing. And since it is an 8-bit register, the maximum count what we can have is 256. Right? After 256, what will happen here? Right? That it will reset and it will set the overflow flag to 1. Right? And whenever the overflow flag is set to 1, what will happen here is now here it will reinitialize. The TL register will be loaded with the whatever value we have it in higher byte register. Right? Take an example. The higher byte register is initialized with, maybe take an example, A0H. So that after reset, the TL register will be reinitialized with A0H value here. And whenever it receives the count, now it will increment A0. After that, it will be A1, A2, A3, A4, like depending on the number of clock cycles the instruction take. We know that for JNB instruction, it takes 2 machine cycles. So that what will happen here, after execution of each JNB instruction, it will increment by 2 here. Before it was A0, now it will be A2, A4, A6, right? A8, AA, right? That's how it will increment the number of counts. Again, whenever it reaches FFM, it will reset and set the overflow flag to 1. And this lower byte register will be again be loaded with the A0H value because the higher byte register is having a value of A0H there. Right? This is the operation of an timer in mode 2, right? And this auto 8-bit auto reload mode 2 operation what we have, that is used for to set the baud rate for serial communication, right? Like when I say baud rate, it is nothing but the number of bits what we can transmit in a second, right? This mode 2 is used for setting the for generating the baud rate, right? We'll study that in the serial communication. And also mode 2 could be used to generate interrupt signals at regular intervals. Now how to generate the time delay using mode 2? This is similar to the mode 1 operation, right? The first thing what we do, we load the T mode register value indicating which timer 0 or timer 1, which timer we are using in mode 2, and the timer mode is selected. In the sense, if I'm using timer 0, what value you load into T mode register, you load 0 to H there, right? So that the M0 bit will be 0 and M1 bit will be 1, right? Similarly, if the timer 1 is selected to operate in mode 2, you load the T mode register with 20H, so that for timer 1, M0 value will be 0 and M1 value will be 1 there, right? The first thing is you need to initialize the T mode register to operate in mode 2, right? After that, you load the TH register with the initial count value. Since it is an 8-bit register, as I said here, we initialize only TH register with the initial count value, right? And once we initialize that, you start the timer. When you start the timer, what will happen? The TL register, right? The TL register, the lower byte register, what we have, that will keep on incrementing, right? It will keep on incrementing till it counts 256 clock cycles. After that number of clock cycles, what will happen? It will reset, and the overflow flag will be set. And at that time, the TL register will be loaded with the initial count values what we have it in TH register. If the TH register is having a value of A0H, the TL register will also be loaded will have a copy of A0H. From A0H, it will keep on incrementing the number of counts there. Now, as I said here, whenever the timer starts, what we do here, we keep monitoring the timer flag JNB TFX, right? It will keep on monitoring whether the overflow flag is set or not. As the number of clock cycles increases, right, the number of counts will also increase, right? And whenever it reaches 256 counts, it will set the overflow flag to 1. Right? Whenever it sets to high, what will happen? The lower, as I said here, the lower register will be reinitialized with the count value which is stored in TH register there, right? And after that, what do you clear the overflow flag, go to the step 4 since it is an auto reload mode, right? So that the TL register will be again be loaded with the whatever value you have it in the higher byte register. This is the process what you need to follow in order to generate the delay using mode 2, right? Now we'll see a couple of examples on this mode 2. Assume the crystal frequency is equal to 11.0592 megahertz. Find the frequency of the square wave generated on right, pin port 1, 0 in the following program. Right, the program is given to us. You need to calculate the frequency for this one. Right, find the frequency of the square wave which is generated. Now if you see the first what we have, move tmod comma hash 20h. Since it is 20h and the higher nibble will have value of 0010, so that the bit 4 is 0, the bit 5 is 1, so that the m0 bit is 0 and m1 bit is 1 for timer 1, so that the timer 1 is selected to operate in mode 2 there, right? Next move th1 comma hash 05h, right? So that the higher byte register what we have, since the timer 1 is selected for mode 2, we use a register th1 here. Now the higher byte register is initialized with the value of 05h here, right? Once we initialize this one, next what you start the timer. How you do you start the timer? Set b tr1. Now it will start the timer, and the timer will receive the clock cycles. As the number of clock it receives, it will increase the number of counts. For each count clock pulse, it will increment by 1. Now since the JNB instruction what we have here, right, it will take 2 machine cycles, so that it will increase by 2 counts there, right? Now what it will JNB TF1 comma back. Now it will keep on monitoring the overflow flag till the overflow flag is set. And when the overflow flag will be set, whenever the TL register has reached 256 counts, after overflow flag is set, it will be reset, and it will be now the TL register will be loaded with what value now? The whatever the initial count value which is loaded into TH1. So that after reset, what will happen is that now the TL register will be initialized with 05h, so that the TH1 1 is having 05, so that the TL1 will also have 05 h value. It will start counting from 05 h value, right? So that what you do, when the overflow flag is set, it will come to the next instruction, complement p1 dot 0. Like if the bit was 0 before, now it will be the bit will be 1. Next you clear the overflow flag, and again go back here, right? As I said here, since the TL1 register will be reinitialized with 05h, right, again it will count from 05h here, and whenever that register will reach 256 counts, again this overflow flag will be set to 1, right? It will stop executing this instruction, it will go to the next instruction, it will execute this one, and this process will continue, right? Now for this program you need to calculate what is the frequency which is generated because of the the initial count what is loaded into the higher byte register 05 here. We'll go to that program. And yeah, assuming that the same program what we had, the crystal frequency is 11.0592 megahertz. Find the frequency of the square wave generated on pin P1.0 in the following program. And the second one, you need to calculate the smallest frequency achievable in this program and the TH value to do that. Right. The first thing is you need to, for that initial value, whatever the program which is given, now, what is the delay or the frequency which is generated by this program here? First, you need to calculate. Now, what is the crystal frequency which is given to us? 11.0592 megahertz, and we divide that by 12. So that what is the timer's frequency we have? 921.6 kilohertz. So that what is the time period? We have 1.085 microsecond here, right? Now, how do you calculate the time delay for that? 2 into number of counts to roll over into 1.085 microseconds. Since it is an 8-bit counter, the maximum count what we can have is FFH in hexadecimal. So that what we have FF minus, and what is the initial value which is loaded into TH1 here? It is 05. FF minus 05 in hexadecimal. I convert to the decimal plus 1. What do we get? 251. So that the number of counts what we can have with the initial value of 05 is 251, and the one clock is for to reset. After the reset to roll over to the value, we use one extra clock cycle here. So the what is the time delay we have? 2 into 251 into 1.085 microseconds. So that what is the time delay we have? 544.67 microseconds here. So that what is the frequency of the square wave which is generated here? 1.8359 kilohertz here. Like for this initial count value what we have? 05, right? What is the frequency we generated? 1.83 kilohertz here. The second part what it says is that what is the smallest frequency which is achievable in this program, and what is the value which we need to load into the TH register so that I get the smallest frequency, right? We know this one, right? To get minimum frequency we need the largest time delay, and the largest time delay when you get it, when I load the higher byte register, the TH1 with 00H there, right? So that what is the time delay we have it now since the TH is 0, final value minus initial value, the final value is 256, the initial value is now it is 00 now. So that what is the number of counts we have? 256. 2 into 256 into 1.085 microseconds. So that what is the time delay we generated here? 555.52 microseconds. So that what is the frequency of the square which is generated here? 1.8 kilohertz, right? This is 1.8 kilohertz which is generated for this, the program which is given with an initial value of 05 H there, right? We can run this program on the Keil software and see how the program is working. We'll copy the code. Also, first thing is, since the crystal frequency, make sure that the crystal frequency is 11.0592. Like whatever the crystal frequency, you need to put it here, right? You can go to the target, and in the target you can put the crystal frequency is 11.0592, right? It is in megahertz, right? Make sure that the crystal frequency is set. After that, start running this program, right? And if you see this one, what we have, it is p1.0, and we already set with that p1.0. This is the bit what we have. And now run this program. You can go to the peripherals and see, since the timer 1 is selected to operate in mode 2, select mode 2, right? That the T mode what we have is to 0 here, right? A timer 1, the value what we have is to 0 now, right? Now do this one, execute, so that you can see now what we have. We executed move th1 comma 05h, so that this register is having a value of 05h, and this value is unchanged, right? After each reset also, the th register will have a value of 05h here. The content which will be changing is the lower byte register TL1 here. You keep on incrementing this one. You can keep on increment. As I said, the GNB instruction takes 2 clock cycles, so that it is incrementing by 2 there, right? Since it is starting from 0, now we'll run this program. Now again it is 05, right? It's very fast what we have it. Again 43 what we have. Now we'll do that. Now it is A, and the overflow flag is still not set because it has not reached the maximum count value of FFH. Now it is F3, F5, F7, F9, FB, FD, and now it is FD, FF. Now, since it is FF, after this clock cycles, what will happen? It will set the overflow flag now. Once the overflow flag is set, right, what will happen there? Right, now the whatever the initial value we have it in TH1, that has to be copied to TL1 there. Now we'll do that. Now, as you can see here, this JNB instruction will take 2 machine cycles, so that what will happen here? Now it has moved to 0, 6 here, because the JNB instruction takes 2 clock cycles, right? And now so that it is 0, 6 what we have. Now what again it will keep on incrementing. Now again what since it is 0, 6, next when I run this one, we clear that overflow flag. Again overflow flag is reset. You can keep on running here. Right, now we'll see the code. Now go to the waveform which is generated. Now if you see this waveform what we have and what is the frequency which is generated, you can just look at this one. We have something like 539487 milliseconds or 539 microseconds what we have, and 1.85 millihertz what we have. That is the frequency what we calculated, right? That is what we got it there. Now you can see from this one. We'll go to that screen. Where is that screen now? Now we can see this one. So that what is the frequency we got it here? 1.83 kilohertz. What we have is 1.83 kilohertz. Yeah, it is since it is 183.5 point, it will be kilohertz what we have it. In order to what is the minimum frequency? For minimum frequency, what we need to do it here? We need to make this as what now? Right? For minimum frequency, what we need to do it here? We need to change this value to 0, 0, right? Since we made the changes, save this one, again rebuild the entire project and the file, run this one, right? Now you can see this one, the waveform is generating and it is continuously running here. And so that what is the frequency which is generated here? What we have is 1.78. What we have it 1.786.31, so that it is 1.786 or 1.8 kilohertz. And what is the time delay what we have? 0.5598 what we have it, right? So that this is what we got here. We got it as 555.52 microseconds. Next, what you need to do? Next, we'll go to the next problem. Write in ALP in 8051, which generates a square wave of frequency 10 kHz on pin P1.2 using timer 1 in mode 2. Assume crystal frequency as 11.0592 MHz. What is the minimum frequency that can be generated? Right? If in the previous problem, what was given to us? The program was given, the initial count was given to us, and we calculated the frequency of the square wave. Now what is given to us is we need to generate a square wave of frequency 10 kilohertz, right? Since the frequency is given, now you need to find what should be the initial count value. We need to load into the higher byte register. When we load that and write the program with that initial count value and generate a square wave frequency of 10 kilohertz there, 10 kilohertz. How do you do this one? Right, similar to what we did for the mode 1 also for square wave. The frequency of the square wave is 10 kilohertz. Time period is 1 divided by this one, 10 kilohertz. This is equal to 10 microseconds. Half period is at 10 microseconds by 2, which will be 50 microseconds here. As I said, it is a square wave. We have 50% duty cycle. The on period is equal to the off period. Therefore, the number of clock pulses, how do you calculate that one? 50 microseconds divided 1.085 microsecond. This is equal to 46.08. So that approximately the number of clock pulses is 46 here. So that what we do, the final value what we had in the initial, this is the number of counts what we can have is 256 minus 46. How much you get? 210. In hexadecimal it will be D2H. So that the initial count value what we load in this register will be D2H, right? And now write the program for this one. How do you write this program? Move tmode comma hash 0 to h, move th1 comma 0 d2h, set btr1. This we know it, right? Since the timer 1 is selected, we load with 20h. The initial count value what we got for 10 kilohertz frequency is d2h. We start the timer and we keep on monitoring the overflow flag, and whenever the overflow flag is set, what we have, the th1 will again be loaded with the d2h value. It will start counting from d2h right? After this tier overflow flag is set, we execute cpl1 p1.2 clear tf1, and again it will keep on repeating this one, right? So that now for here what we do is, now what is the initial count value got, we got d2h, and it is what we have. Now it will go to 8-bit auto reload, timer 1 is selected, right? Now as you keep on running this one, what will happen there, it is loaded with d2h. Now the TL1 will keep on incrementing 1 3, right, till it becomes what now, till ffh. It will keep on incrementing this one, and it will be reinitialized with what value now, once the overflow flag, it will be reloaded with the whatever value you have it in higher byte register. What you have it in higher byte register, d2, that value will be loaded into the lower byte register after reset. Now f7 f9 fb, again you can see here, now it is d3, it has started from d2 now, right? The TL register has started from this value now, right? Now again this TF flag will be overset, again it will start incrementing. So that what we have now, it we get it as 9.918 kilohertz, a 10 kilohertz frequency what we have generated with initial count value of d2 now, right? We have these frequencies. We return the program, the whatever initial count value we got it, right? And the third program will, example we'll see for mode 2. Assume crystal frequency is 11.0592 megahertz. Write a program to generate a square wave of frequency 1 kilohertz on pin p1.2 here, right? Now if you see this example what we have, now you need to generate a square wave of frequency 1 kilohertz. Now if you see the example what we had, right? For this example what we had here, the crystal frequency what we selected was what now? The crystal frequency was 11.0592. For that crystal frequency, the minimum frequency what we can generate here was how much? 1.8 kilohertz. But here what we have it now? Here what we have in this question, here we need to generate a frequency of 1 kilohertz. Now how do you do this one, right? We know that with the initial count of 00h in higher bit register, right, we can get the minimum frequency as 1.8 kilohertz there, right? Now how do you generate a frequency which is less than 1.8? Now here we need to generate 1 kilohertz. Now how do you generate this one? How do you generate for this one now, right? Here if you see, as we know the process how to count, how to find the initial count values. How do you do this one? You can, right, the first crystal frequency you take 1.84 megahertz, we know. Where is that one? We'll go to the problem number 8. Here assume, yeah, I just want to make the changes here. Now here, yeah, have in this problem I've taken it 22 megahertz, right? 22 megahertz which I'm taken it here, right? Here the crystal frequency is 22 megahertz. Write a program to generate a square wave frequency 1 kilohertz on pin P1.2 here. Now, as I said here, for 11.0592 crystal frequency, the minimum frequency what we can generate is 1.8 kilohertz. Now, for 22 megahertz crystal frequency, now we need to generate a square wave of 1 kilohertz. Now, how do you generate this one? Right? We know the process how we do that, right? The first we'll find the timer's frequency and the timer's time period. For 22 megahertz, what is this one now? For 22 megahertz, right? What is the timer's period we got? 0.546 microseconds, right? And also the frequency of the square wave what we need to generate is 1 kilohertz. And what is the time period for that? 1 milliseconds. Now what is the period for on cycle or the off cycle, which we call it as a half cycle, right? It will be 0.5 milliseconds. So that what is the number of clock pulses for this one? You get it as 915.75, right? Here what we should get is the number of clock pulses at the count what we should have in order to get a frequency of 1 kilohertz using 22 megahertz crystal frequency is 915 now. 915. Now how do you do this one now? Now you can see here, since the mode 2 is only 8-bit timer, the number of counts what we can have is only 256 counts. Now I need to initialize with the clock count value as I should count 915, right? Using 8-bit timer, I cannot do that because the maximum number of counts what we can have is only 256 counts there. So that now what you do, there are various way how we can do it. Now what we do here is in this one, right? To get a delay of that one, what I do is 915 divided by 5. I do it. This is divided by 5. Make the correction. It is divided by 5. So that what I get is 183 cycles. Now this 183, I know that 8-bit counter can count 256 counts and 183 is less than 256. So that I can load this value into the timer register now. So that 183 and now I make sure that this count is executed for 5 times, right? So that if I 183 into 5, if I do it, how many clock pulses I can get? 915. The delay what we can get because of this clock 915 will be sufficient enough to generate a frequency of 1 kilohertz there, right? So that what we have, so that in th register what we do now, 256 minus 183, so that what we have 49h there, right? So that since I have 49h, what I get to reach FFH, it will count how much? 183 counts there, right? So that 49h what we can have, as I said here, this loop has to be executed for 5 times. 2 into 183 into 5 into 0.546 microseconds, you get it as 1 millisecond there. So that what is the frequency which is generated from 1 millisecond? It will be 1 kilohertz, right? And now what you do for this one, as I said here, in order to repeat this for 5 times, right? Make this correction. This is 5 here. I will use the register R0. Move R0 comma hash 05, right? Move th 1 comma 05, right? Hash 48h, set b tr0, jnb tf0 comma back, clear tr0, clear tf0. Again what you do, jump no 0 r0, again you go there, you load that value with 48h. Again it will count 183 clock cycles, 183 into 5 times, because the r0 is loaded with 5, so that 183 into 5 will be 915. That much delay is sufficient enough to generate a square wave of 1 kilohertz there, right? When you do that, so that now when you do that, what will happen there, that this is generated for this is 22 megahertz. So that what you get now, what is the initial values we calculated, the th register will be loaded with 49h. Since it is 49h, so that how many counts are required to reach FFH? It will be 183 decimal, right? 183 counts required to reach 256 counts there. And since we require 915 clock cycles, the R 0 is loaded with 0, 5 there. So that what is the frequency we generated once you write that program? This is the program which is returned there, right? And make sure that you go and change the target to 22. The crystal frequency, you change it as 22 megahertz. So that what is the frequency which we generated here? You get it as 964 hertz, which will be nothing but 1 kilohertz frequency what we generated for the square wave there, right? This is about the mode to operation.